Sure. Welcome back to the Honored Ones podcast, the only podcast where you get objective truth on one end and objective misinformation on the other end. And today we got episode 19, and we got some interesting stuff to talk about. We got three chapters, three separate series that we're going to talk about. One being Super Smartphone, a new manga that is featuring in Weekly Shonen Jump. That's actually been pretty interesting. We have My Hero, which dropped a really nice chapter featuring
For
Todoroki.
once,
And
yes.
then we have a JJK chapter that we got a lot of hype to talk about. We're gonna go in that order, talking about those series. We have the most to talk about, so JJK. So we're gonna push that one to the back because we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk. I got a lot of gloating to do. So we'll start off with the first two series. Still good, but I think we can kind of cover our thoughts on it in a much more brief way. So
All right.
I'll say my piece real quick.
Yes.
I like Super Smartphone. It has some like Death Note
Note.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like super. I don't think it has the same like dark tone as Death Note did in its start, but I do think it has a similar vibe of like smart main character given these supernatural abilities, with like a mystery element and like a smart main character element to it. So I'm kind of interested in seeing where it goes. That kind of encompasses chapter one and two, just in general. But I think this monkey could definitely go places. I do like the concept. I do like the sort of trope that it's following. So I'm here for it. In all honesty, I'm here. I'm interested to see where it goes. Not too much because we only have two chapters to work from, but it's still a pretty solid series, all things considered.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as for me, I actually agree with like all of that, including the part about it being giving like Death Note energy, because I definitely felt it with this particular recent chapter, chapter two, because one, they introduced that detective character. You know who I'm talking
Hmm.
about? Yeah.
Yep.
And she was also sitting weird in her chair, and she was also kind of like a mess. And I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
see some obvious inspiration here, and I don't mind it. Right? It's
Mhm.
like I like seeing mangakas, achieve the dream of paying homage to their favorite series or whatever. Now,
Mhm.
as for me, the thing that I'm most excited about when it comes to this series is genuinely like what the deal is with the actual smartphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what end does it serve? What do these points like? What do these points benefit the person who made the smartphones? Excuse me. And that smartphones plural because I guess reveal this chapter that there's a possibility that there are multiple smartphones and smartphone holders competing out there for what, uh, for like how it's even possible. Like there's so many like little things that I just am intrigued with. Namely, if we're talking about like chapter specific mysteries, why the hell they consider like public service things like 1 point, 2 points here and there, where the smartphone was like even criticizing him at one point. He was like, "Yo, I'm not supposed to be used for this shit." So I'm like, what is it supposed to be used for? Is my question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. I think it has those mystery elements to it that are going to be handled. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun to see it like kind of unfold. This is one of the first new series in a while that I felt like actually is really good. Like right, not really really good. Like it's nothing crazy yet, but I think it has like a lot of potential. I'm actually interested in it. Um, so that's nice. That's a new thing. But yeah, overall, kind of gives Death Note vibes. Has the mystery elements, has the smart Indian character elements, has like the supernatural ability that like enhances the already like high level of capabilities that the main character has. So I'm pretty interested in seeing where it goes. Overall, pretty good.
I'm curious what your did do you also have the impression upon seeing the name and artwork for it on the Shonen Jump app, and you were like, ah, yes, another shitty comedy manga, Shonen Jump really
Yes.
falling off, and then you read the first chapter and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't think the first page really helps with that. With goo goo
Goo,
goo,
yeah.
not necessarily the most like serious toned thing, like whereas Death Note sort of elicits like just the name of the actual like mystical item elicits this sort of like mystery, like sort of creepy vibe. Goo 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 does not, but regardless of the stupid name, it's cool. I think the concept is cool. I think it's generally cool. I think when you look to the first chapter cover page or like the colored page, you see the detective girl, and then you also see this like really mysterious, what I'm assuming to be a large antagonist character. So I'm curious in like how the next couple of chapters start to really like focus on those things. So yeah, pretty good though. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely pleasantly surprised, not only with like the quality of the story so far, but like my reception to it. Because man, there's this level of like self awareness that a manga or like any series I consume has to have that just makes me instantly like fuck with it. And this is how I'm gonna segue into My Hero. With Goo Goo Goo, the name of the phone.
Mhm.
And these little moments where it said not Google. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
like for some reason that saved a lot of like the weirdness about the name for me. Like it was very like deliberately like, oh yeah, you can name the company, but you're like going out of your way to say it. I don't know. I find it like the my favorite like thing is when mangakas acknowledge their own series in a kind of like half meta way, not where like they do an author's note within the fucking middle of the action or something crazy like that, but more like they do it through a character as their mouthpiece. So with My Hero in this, not this recent chapter from today, but last week, not last week, but like the chapter before this, where Dobby's just going in on Todoroki, and he's just like, "You're kind of a fucking failure, bro. You're just a walking L compared to your friends, and you've just been kind of riding your quirks, powerness for basically your entire life. You're fucking dog shit." And then I was like, "Oh shit, Horikoshi does know about Todoroki's weaknesses as a character." I thought that was just like him writing like that, on purpose. Like, not on purpose, but like by accident. Like this was the ceiling of his power, so to speak.
Yeah. And that's a good segue into My Hero. I feel like this chapter, the two chapter combo of the show, like Todoroki and Dabi fight, while short, I think has been pretty good. I think it was a pretty good duo of chapters, and I think like the reason I say I gauge it as being pretty good is, well, Dabi wasn't crazy, um, like in terms of like my enjoyment of him as a villain. What really surprised me is the fact that Horikoshi was able to take Todoroki, a character that I think is kind of just whatever.
He's
It's kind of
kind
like
of bland.
up to this point, kind of bland, right?
Yeah.
Into a character that I actually enjoy and think is like pretty good. I
Hmm.
know a lot of people like Todoroki, even before these chapters, but these chapters really did a good job of like making him. I don't know. I just feel like it just makes him a much cooler character. I think when he thanks Deku for like helping him achieve his own power, and then it just jumps right into him using like like the pale blade and the cold flame pale blade against Dabi. I think that was pretty cool. I like the fight in general. It was pretty cool all in all. Like all things considered, this has been a long time coming. This has been a very long time coming for Todoroki, like getting a new ability, or like more like making his own new ability, or making his own abilities truly his, and not just using them separately, right? We got some pretty cool spreads, some pretty cool like panels here, so I can't really complain for this chapter. This chapter I think did really well.
Yeah, and not only did the chapter like just hit, but I also thought it was like a very like fantastic use of pacing. Like you and I, we shot on Horikoshi's ability to pace a story too many times to count at this point, right? But this was one of those like My Hero chapters where I was like, damn, he made use out of every single panel. And I don't know if you noticed, but the chapter is actually shorter this time around. It's only like 15 pages.
Is that the case? Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess so.
yeah, but it feels like way more dense and like action packed because so much shit happened in it, and I was just losing my mind. I was like, "Yo, Horikoshi, where do you like? Where do you like? Is he going Super Saiyan for certain chapters? Like is this him like just putting everything he has, or is this just how he casually writes?" And that's just what I want to know. Like, why can't My Hero Academia always be like these last few chapters?
I mean, the Todoroki family conflict has always been particularly good. You can tell that like you'll look at specific points where like you look at specific points where like My Hero kind of peaks, and you'll notice a lot of the times there's a Todoroki there. You'll either see Dabi, you'll see Todoroki himself, or you'll see Endeavor, right? Like some of the best fights include Endeavor Dabi, Todoroki, right? Like a lot of these things, I feel like he's just always been very good at writing the dynamic with these characters. So I kind of was like expecting quality, at least higher quality than what we'd been getting before, to be honest. I think what you really need to worry about with Horikoshi is how he writes with characters like Uraraka, because
Yeah.
I didn't feel as strongly with her conflicts, at least in the beginnings of it. But this, while quick, I do like. Now, I don't know how I'll feel like. I don't know how I'll feel about like if Dabi like reforms now. I think that'd be kind of weird. But
I
like the
mean,
fight itself, I think is good. It's
can he
interesting.
even reform is my whole thing, because he seemed like very in this chapter with the dialogue, like very committed to his whole like, you and I, we will never understand each other just as people. And I kind of agree, just based on how he's been acting, how he kind of went about, you know, killing a bunch of people. Basically every aspect of Dabi, instead of like, you know, Toya Todoroki, is his identity. You know what I mean? I like, you can make the argument, honestly, because we all know Horikoshi's like a Star Wars fan. You can make the argument for like a Darth Vader moment of sorts at the end, but one of two things is gonna happen: either that, or he just gets arrested, bro, and he just like stays crazy.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, Shigaraki's killed a lot of people too. I still very confidently think he's going to be saved by Deku in some capacity that isn't just locking him up. I feel like I just think Dabi is one that's like gone really far. I'm not sure though. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I have a little bit more trust in Horikoshi's ability to write this dynamic, considering how he's been doing really good with these last two chapters. So, I mean, there's that. But
Uh,
yeah.
I guess rating for the chapter.
Probably like a 9 out of 10. It was pretty good.
Yeah, me too. It's wild though, because in our call you were like, "Oh yeah, if My Hero, like, wait, so you read JJK last? First,
Yes.
okay, because you said My Hero would have taken the cake for best chapter this week if JJK had like a C tier chapter. So then, what is a C tier JJK chapter? Out of curiosity.
Like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
No, like reference one.
Shit, I don't know. He hasn't had one in a while.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I mean. That's why I'm like, what?
like I think Hakari chapter is like lower than what I'd say a C tier is. Like that's a D tier JJK chapter in my
What?
opinion.
Hakari's chapters were like A tier. What the
No,
fuck
no,
you
no,
mean?
no. The chapter before this one was not A tier. It wasn't B tier and it wasn't C tier.
Dude,
It wasn't.
that was
It's
such a
not like
fun
once again.
chapter.
I mean, like I said, it still have the chapter like a 6 out of 10, 6.5, something like that, right? So it's not a bad chapter.
That's a
But relative
wild
to
score.
JJK chapters, it is not very good.
Bro,
No.
are you seriously going to sit there and tell me a 3-page explanation about a domain expansion you just heard about isn't fucking peak fiction? Are you even really a JJK
It's not
fan?
even. It's not even the explanation. I think the ability just isn't that cool. I think the ability itself is not applied in a very cool way, at least so far.
No, Justin, we haven't gotten to the JJK part yet. Anyway, so I think that's a good segue actually to get into Broken Ronin's proclamation, the best chapter this week, so to speak.
Duh.
Duh. Wow. Yeah, I don't know why I mocked you for that. I agree. I just
I
like,
was about to say, I
yeah,
was like, dude, like, what do you like the best chapter this week? Like, obviously, I feel like I don't know. I didn't
yeah.
think that was like a really like an up. Like, I guess if you read One Piece, I don't know, but like, let me not slander One Piece. I don't even
Yeah.
know why I brought One Piece up. Whatever.
Bro, One Piece
Yeah, it's
just
it's easily my best chapter.
I mean, yeah. I mean, for all those of you who care about One Piece, really quick, it was an alright chapter. Anyway, so with this JJK chapter, I just want to acknowledge two things, right? One is I still don't see what the gas is about Kashima, and two,
You're. I think you're just a hater. I think what it is
oh
like
my god,
you didn't. I think. Hey, let me be honest. I think this is what it is. You didn't get the gas for Kashimo initially, so you're not able to see the vision. when
bro,
he
there was
actually
no
pulls
gas
some
to
cool stuff
get.
off.
What a psychotic thing to say. There was no gas to get in the first place, bro. We were
If you look for Sukuna, you literally have to be an idiot, which I don't think he is. We see based off the rule he gives that he's actually pretty intelligent, or you have to be ridiculously strong. And as we've seen, it's the latter, not the former.
That is actually crazy to me that you'd say that, bro. Like the fact that Kashima is just uh, I'm sorry. Okay. Kashima one-shotting Panda is just not a flex. Like I said it
It
before,
literally is a
bro.
flex.
I could do it. All right, you could do it. Anybody in chat could beat up Panda. It's not that hard. The guy's literally a stuffed animal.
No. Beating up Panda and what Kashimo did are two completely different things. Kashimo one-shotted Panda several times. The same Panda that, like, I'm just gonna be honest, Geto didn't one-shot. Like, Geto
Oh
didn't
my god.
one-shot Panda.
I don't think he was
Kashimo
trying
did.
to.
Nothing you would have would indicate that, but
Also, it depends on the
I would say
kind of
Kashimo.
shot. It depends on the kind of shot too. It's not like Geto hit him with the full Uzumaki.
I didn't say, and Kashima when he was one-shotting him, didn't hit him with his technique. The first thing he does is punches him, just a casual punch, rips through his stomach, and then rips his arm off. So even if you say Geto's being casual, so is Kashima. He's literally grading Panda while they fight. And then, unlike Geto, when Panda uses unblockable drumming beat, Kashimo doesn't even like flinch at it.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Because everybody seems to like want to dodge that technique in one way or another. Because even in JJK Zero, in the Mechamaru fight, everybody's trying to avoid that attack, and I'm like, it can't be that fucking powerful, right? Because
It is because it like negates their ability, like for the most part.
yeah, I guess the whole unblockable part, right? But
Yeah.
when it finally does connect for the first time against Kashima, it's like, the fuck were they all afraid of? It seems like this C tier character can tank it just fine. You know, this filler, non-important character.
It's because you're a hater. It's because you're like you're not seeing you like the thing is you literally have to be in denial to not understand why Kashimo's being hyped up.
Dude, how
Because
are you
Panda's probably a grade 1 sorcerer at this point,
semi
right?
grade 1 max?
He tanks Mechamaru's strongest attack, and Mechamaru's a semi grade 1. You'd have to be drastically stronger than them to be able to do that. Like
Drastically.
they can't. If you can't be relative to somebody and then no sell their attacks. So like for example, right? Imagine me and you are fighting, right? Let's say
Easy,
we're just
easy
gonna say
diff.
I'm a semi grade 1. If I hit you and you don't move, right? You just tank it like Panda did. You'd have to be a grade 1 in comparison because Panda, he was just like he stood there, he tanked the attack, and he was chilling,
Dude,
right?
the funniest thing about that fight was like every time Panda would pull out one of his moves, Kashima would just rank him lower and lower in terms of like difficulty or power level. So it was like it started off, oh, you're kind of strong, sort of strong, you're weak. Oh, you're really weak.
Yeah, I think why that's the case is because like he assumed that Panda's initial gear was like whatever, right? He's like, okay, yeah, if this is how you start off a fight, you might not be bad, but he saw him like use his like next form, and it was like, oh, this is what your next form looks like. Like that's it, that's the difference. Oh, and then he
Mm.
sees like that, and he's like, oh yeah, I was really wrong about you. You're
Yeah.
not built like that.
And it's crazy because like his I was so fucking excited to see his older sister's moves and everything, and I didn't even realize like Panda's body, like his base panda body, transformed into like a female panda.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, but like, was it okay? What was the animal of his sister? Was it a goat, a rhino, a
Looked like it
skunk?
probably looked like a rhino.
Because I thought it was a skunk, right? With like the body being like that, and like the tail was that big ass like face thing.
I definitely got the rhino thing because of the horns. Like I don't know what skunk has like horns like that.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's still a like a curse. You know, I'm not saying it has to be anatomically correct.
for sure. I don't know. I got the rhino implication.
Panda used all
Um,
of his cores and he got washed. So, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to touch on. So is Panda like dead? Because like
no,
Kashima.
He didn't hit Panda's. Well, we can assume he didn't hit Panda's core because he's still asking him questions.
No, but Panda always transformed after like a significant attack, right? Meaning like probably one of his cores got burnt out at the very least.
Yeah, he transforms when he's out of cores. I'm saying that like I don't think there's a reason to say he's dead yet because I don't think Kashima is trying to kill him. That's not what he did here. I don't think that was the intent because right after that he's like, "Yo, where's Sukuna at?" I think he either has to like The thing is, I don't. None of the attacks seem to hit Panda lethally. Like I don't know, they're not like. Trust me, they look like they hurt, right?
Hmm.
But like it's one of two things, right? Either um Panda's gorilla core wasn't destroyed, which someone in chat brought up because like he wasn't forced to switch. He like decided to because he was like, oh yeah, my sister's gonna have to handle you, right?
But
Or he just didn't kill his sister's iteration of the form because he still needs to ask him questions.
yo, Panda got handled for real. Like every time Kashima would rip through him, I like, imagine the sound of stuffing and clothing being ripped. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like the sound of fabric being ripped, and it was like,
Yeah,
oh god, that's so nasty.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's like I don't see like I'm not saying you have to think he's like top tier, right? I'm not saying you have to take it that far, but like one-shotting somebody that's probably a grade one and then not seeing the hype for them is kind of wild.
I mean, okay, here's my counter argument, and then maybe you and chat can like understand how I think, right? If you go to somebody like Panda and you beat them like this, and then you're somebody from 400 years ago, to me, right, it means that you see Panda's level as like two tiers below what the current rankings, like the current like modern day rankings put him as. So, for example, it's like Panda's at like, let's say semi grade one now. Excuse me. Panda's at semi grade one now. He'd probably be grade two or grade three 400 years ago, and like grade four in the Heinen era, right?
I'm not
So
even sure they had grades back then, but
just in
sure.
terms of like naming the kind of like tiers of power,
Maybe
right?
possible. I don't know.
So that being said, I am willing to put Kashima at like grade one, circa 400 years ago, which is technically still special grade nowadays, and that's my argument.
Sure. So why are you not hyped about a special grade character showing up? Like, in your thought, he's a special grade. Why are you not impressed?
Because special grade is very broad, dude. Mahito, a finger bearer, and Sukuna are all considered special grades, and there's like massive gaps of power between each of those tiers.
Yeah, one of those special grades literally shits himself whenever thinking of like whenever trying to like fight around Sukuna. He literally dances around the thought of Sukuna being Mahito. The other guy that you think is a special grade is seeking him out. He's like, where is he? And keep in mind, he probably doesn't have any idea that Sukuna is not completely like that he's not like fully reincarnated, right? He probably doesn't know that Sukuna is nerfed.
I mean,
So
why were okay again? Why do you keep assuming Sukuna is nerfed? I'm saying like modern Sukuna, 15 finger Sukuna today is probably about as strong as 20 finger Sukuna back in the Heinen era because it's shown that its
there's
power's been increasing with time, and especially after
yeah.
Yuji activated that first finger.
Sure, it increases with time, but by a completely unknown amount. Whereas with the amount of fingers, you have a very good gauge of like how much stronger it makes him, at least relative to what he was before, right? We know we know that like a difference of like 6 fingers or about 5 fingers actually is enough for Jogo to be able to beat someone to not being able to touch that character, right? Bare minimum.
There,
That's what we
okay.
know the difference in 5 fingers is. Whereas with how much he's grown, he can have. I'm not saying he has, but I'm saying he could have grown 0.0000001% every day, and we don't know how much of an increase that is. So sure, he has grown stronger, but it could be by such an infinitesimally small amount that it's irrelevant, or it could be a large amount. We don't
Wait,
know.
don't they say
But
it's
with
exponential with time? Like the more time
no,
passes, the higher the rate increases?
they don't mention. Gojo just says he's getting stronger every day.
Well, yeah.
When he does make that statement.
Okay, so I'm just a little bit of leeway for interpretation there, I guess.
I mean, I don't think you can say anything in that statement implies an exponential increase. Getting like I can get stronger every day as I age, right? But that increase doesn't have to become exponential. It could very easily be linear.
Right?
Um,
But even linear, assuming the rate is, like say 2% of Sukuna's power, 2% of Sukuna's power is like 20% of a different sorcerer's. So, like, what are we talking about when we say like,
I'm just saying we have no gauge to even say it's 2%. 2% could be a fucking massive eyeball. All I'm saying is with about 5 fingers of Sukuna level, we know he goes from, hey, Jogo can beat him to Jogo doesn't even land a hit on him. That's
Yes.
all I'm saying. And
Okay.
I'm saying, and the inverse is we don't know how much stronger. He could be, to your point, he could be infinitely stronger over the time that his fingers have like his fingers been separated, but he could have also gotten barely stronger. It could have been an insignificant increase, right?
Okay.
In terms of the grand scheme of sorcerers.
Fine.
What I'm saying is for my point, we have a much more solid power scale.
Fine. So I'll take your argument at face value, assuming a linear scale of some kind, right? Like every day he increases by like 0.5% or something arbitrary like that, right?
Sure.
How many fingers would you put Kashima at?
I don't know. I would say he's probably. I mean, I
Okay.
don't know how strong he. I don't know
Okay,
how
wait,
strong
wait.
he would be.
Okay, I figured
So
out a funnier way to phrase this question. How many Sukuna fingers is Panda?
I also don't fucking know. Um,
Bro, you don't
hmm,
you can't power scale Panda? You don't
I can't
say.
power scale how many fingers he has. I can say, yeah, he's probably a grade one. That's about it. He's probably a grade one sorcerer in terms of like maybe not in terms of like legitimate rank, but in terms of like power.
Kashima is probably 10 fingers. See, that's crazy that you'd put him at 10, which is technically less than Maharaga. Okay, Maharaga's never
Mm-mm.
actually been explained like in Sukuna fingers, but I'm putting him like at around over Jogo, but less than 15 finger Sukuna. So in the 12, 13 range, just based on like the fights back to
Mahar
back.
that if you allow him to evolve, he could probably get there. But Maharaga's default, I don't think is anywhere near 10 fingers. Like the standard he starts with, I feel like his base stats and base abilities, I don't think he's anywhere near 10 fingers.
Counterpoint: he
Um,
survived Sukuna's domain expansion for a while, right? The thing that ultimately killed
yeah,
him
but
off was the
it's
fire.
I know he evolved his slashing attacks. That's what I'm saying. That's not his default ability. He'd already evolved his slashing techniques in general, which is why he had to bring out the fire.
But also, Sukuna is just a terrible matchup for him because he has like an infinite arsenal of variety, right? So he can easily bombard Maharaga, where like somebody with kind of a one note curse technique can't do that. You know who has a one note curse technique so far? Kashima. You know, like how many times are you gonna be able to hit Maharaga with electricity before it's like, okay, fuck this, I adapted. What are you gonna do now?
I'm not even arguing your point of Maharega not being able to get there. I'm saying you're saying he's like I got the implication that you're saying he's 10 fingers level. That completely depends. I don't think he start like his if Megami summons him, he does not start anywhere near that in my opinion. He's much closer to 4 or 5.
Right, but he's obviously going to put up a little bit of a fight even at base. You know, like he initially hit Sukuna with positive cursed energy because he assumed it was a cursed spirit, and the literal second like Sukuna didn't like instantly get sliced in half, he was like, okay, negative cursed energy then because you're in a human body.
Sure.
So
What
like,
about it?
so the adaptability is very like on the fly as well. Like it doesn't take like this kind of massive, oh yeah, the attack has to finish, then Maharaga has to like load the information and all this shit. Like sometimes attacks are adaptability is faster than other attacks. Like
I'm
he's not adapting to a domain expansion at the same rate he's adapting to like a punch.
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying I don't think like I feel like maybe you're missing the point I'm trying to get at here. Because like the initial thing is like he's 10 finger level, and I'm just saying I don't agree with that. I think he can get there if you let him fight you for a while. Because I think he only got there after after Sukuna starts hitting him with his techniques and starts toying with him, right? Because Sukuna um didn't take him very seriously.
So
Whereas I don't think Kashimo has displayed that playful attitude in a fight, not
so,
to the same degree.
so would you say Maharaga right out of the bag is like 9 fingers, about as strong as
No,
Jogo?
not even close. No.
Really?
Nowhere near. He's probably closer to 3 or 4, 5 tops in
So
terms of how he starts. Yeah, for sure.
where would you put him after he adapts to slashing attacks?
I don't know. Maybe 6 because it's specific to Sukuna. Like a lot of these things are specific to the fighter. So, like yeah, after he adapts to slashing attacks for someone like Sukuna, he's probably like 6 or 7, maybe 8 fingers because it's like his main form of attacking is like nullified.
Um, Kashima seems like Sukuna, a guy that doesn't pull any punches. That's why he has so many points. I mean, he has no regard for human life. Bro, it's the Cullen games. You know, you kind of have to. That's kind of a prerequisite for going in.
Yeah, I mean, Kashimo to me gives me the implication of a guy who will one-shot his opponent much faster than Sukuna. Like, this is the same Sukuna that, like, fought Megami and Megami survived
Yes,
initially.
Sukuna is very much like a sadist above all else.
I personally believe. Now, I'm not saying Kashimo is stronger than Hamaruka starts because that's a large claim you have to make, right? But what I am saying is, if he were, he's probably one-shotting him, right? If he were strong enough to do so, he's not toying with him. He's literally doing what he does to Panda and putting a hole in his chest.
Diana,
And he might blow his head off with lightning or something.
well, he has more than 100 points. The man has killed more than 40 people at least. And not only that, but he also was the first person to add a new rule to the Cullen games. So he already had 100
That's why
points
I think
before
he's smart.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Diana, how many points does he have? Probably like 100 again right now. Sukuna fights for fun mostly. Sukuna fights to chill out. Yeah, he fights for fun. But I want to get back to Kashimo's points for a second here. So, on average, would you say that like the majority of the Cullen Games participants, victims, players? I'm gonna go with players. Would you
Sure.
say the majority of the Cullen Games players are like in the same ballpark as like
They're
Yuji
fodder.
Megami, or would you say
They're
that
fodder.
really? So it's not like
Yuji and Megami would have a field day.
right. So it's only people in like Sendai Colony and like presumably Kashimo
And I
who
and I
are
would say the people and I would say it's not that in general Sendai Colony goes crazy. It's that it has Yuta, it has Uro, it has Ishigori, it has Kashimo. It has a lot of heavy hitters, but the unnamed ones I doubt are very strong.
you know what? I I think we finally agree. What is this? What is this feeling?
Because I think what would be the point of like having these characters in that are strong, but you don't show them fight? There is no point. They're there to serve as cannon fodder for like the more powerful characters.
Narratively, though, don't think Kashimo would be below Jogo. Uh,
There's not enough.
yeah,
There, I mean, you can say that like his attitude towards Sukuna, like,
yeah.
is sort of it
See,
implies that, which I agree with, but that's only if you assume he wants to fight him, which I'm also assuming is the case. He
yo,
doesn't need to want to fight Sukuna.
speaking of the his, can we address like the narrative real quick about this whole where is Sukuna bit? Because I think that's one of the
Sure,
most interesting aspects of Kashima's like presentation as a character, right? Because like who the fuck looks for Sukuna, you know?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, do you think like how do they even meet, right? Because Kashima's from 400 years ago, Sukuna's from 1,000 years ago, right? And from what
Hmm.
I've understood, reading it, Sukuna didn't become like a cursed item like right away. Like he
Uh,
obviously had to live out some parts of his life as a human, but that was 1,000 years ago. Like what's the turnover rate between him being cursed object and then all the way to being resurrected in the modern era? Like at what point would Kashimo have like met Sukuna to like have this kind of relationship with him? Even because okay, you can. My theory is that it's kind of like a Midoriya like Deku All Might situation where he just kind of like stands Sukuna when he was younger, and he was just like, oh, I wonder if I could take him or some shit like that. But that's like the only explanation that I think, not only, but like it's one of the explanations that I really really fuck with in terms of like Kashima's motivations for wanting to fight Sukuna is just kind of fulfilling this like dream. And I'm wondering, like, fundamentally where the opportunities were for them to have crossed paths in any way, shape, or form. Like is
I don't
Yuji?
think they have to have. I don't think they have to have crossed paths at any point in their life. Honestly, like they
Wait,
could have, but I don't think it's necessary.
wait. Does this mean is Yuji the only vessel? No way, right? Because Jogo's like, oh, we haven't seen somebody with talent like this in like 100 years. So I'm assuming said talent is being able to contain Sukuna's cursed everything. So do you think there
Probably.
were previous vessels?
I mean, it's possible. I'm just saying for Kashima wanting to find Sukuna, like assuming he wants to fight him, he doesn't even have to have ever met him. Sukuna doesn't even have to have ever existed in his era. Um, Sukuna is a legend that is like that precedes himself, right? He's the king of curses. You don't have to meet him to know him,
So
type
you
thing.
think it's also a Deku All Might situation?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. If there's any inconsistency issues of like how would Kashimo know him, then yeah, it could be very easily resolved with he doesn't have to actually know him. He can know of his legend more than anything else.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I kind of fuck with this line of logic because if it turns out he's like a longtime rival of Sukuna's, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that. It's
You're gonna have to eat your words. That's what you're. That's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna have to swallow your pride and
oh
admit you were
my
wrong.
god, oh my god. Listen, I've never done that before. I'll never do. I'm just like you for real, bro. I'll never admit to any wrongdoings.
I'm never wrong though, so that's why I don't admit to them.
See what I mean? Exactly.
Nope. Let's see.
Yeah, we gotta read chat. We've just kind of been on the Kashimo debate for a while. So, Hakari versus Kashimo soon. I'd kill to see that. I'd also love to see how strong Hakari is against like a serious opponent. Ryo and Kashimo are from the same time period. How would you compare the two? Who's Ryo? You see that one?
Ishigori.
Is that?
You're saying who's Rio?
Oh, that's Ishigori's first name. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe because I okay. Listen, Ishigori, Uro, and the. Do you want to count the cockroach spirit? I'm not going to. I feel like there's definitely some kind of power divide between the cockroach spirit, the old guy, Uro, and Ishigori. Like if I had to power skill the four of them, Ishigori, Uro, cockroach, old guy, in terms of like power level. Would you disagree with that?
We haven't seen the old guy, so I'd say it's fine putting him
Yeah,
last.
but he
And
got off
yeah,
screened with like with a single strike, sans Rika. You know what I mean?
yeah, maybe. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the scaling isn't bad.
Maybe Kashima just wanted to get an autograph before everything's done. Lol. Yeah, I'd fucking love that. I think Kashima is one of the guys who helped defeat Sukuna. When like Sukuna wasn't like Sukuna, the two-faced menace, 400 years ago. Um. I think Kashima's one. What do you think of Kenjaku's bomb? Oh, dude, I almost forgot about that.
I don't have any thoughts of Kinjaku's bomb. It's too vague right now. I have no idea.
Yeah, me too. But also, I wonder if his bomb is literally like a massive bomb. Like, okay, hold on. Is this bomb? Do you think it's going to be with Kenjaku as a player or Kenjaku as like the guy masterminding the whole thing? Because if it's Kenjaku as a player and he whips out like a fucking like a colony bomb of some sorts, the amount of points he's getting is going to be redonkulous. He's probably gonna be able to add like 3 to 5 rules.
I probably imagine he's gonna mastermind because that's what we've seen him do in character, but it could go either way.
Kashmi never met Sukuna. Probably Hakari with a domain expansion that hasn't a guaranteed hit versus Kashimo that has a cursed energy that is a guaranteed hit. What? Maybe Sukuna killed someone important. Wait, hold on, Diano. That's kind of assuming that Kashimo doesn't have a domain expansion in addition to his can't miss curse technique. Maybe Sukuna killed someone
Yeah.
important to Kashimo and he wants revenge. Kashimo doesn't seem like he's ever cared about anybody in his entire life.
Kashima does not like the context of the scene in which Kashima looks for Sukuna does not imply revenge at all. It
No.
could, like, it is possible, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it does not imply it in the slightest because what Kashimo says, right, is like, they were much tougher 400 years ago. Where is Sukuna? So it seems to be in response to people being weak.
Yeah. And honestly, the biggest takeaway from Kashima's whole demeanor is that he's very much into fighting. Like Hisoka level into fighting, you know what I'm saying? Because the way he was fighting Panda, the guy was cheesing the entire time. He was just like all gas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was Panda too, so you can imagine the kick he's gonna get out of meeting Hakari or Sukuna. Or Maki. Oh my god.
That'd be interesting. I believe Hakari and Kanshimo's cursed energy properties are passive abilities to their technique. That's just a theory. No, I think you're correct. I think that is just how their cursed energy exists. Similar to how Yuji's inherent properties were laggy initially before he controlled it. They probably can apply and control it on purpose, but I don't think that it's required. I think they have those properties innately.
Yeah. And just touching on Maki real quick, I'm assuming that after this next chapter, there's going to be some kind of convergence. Because usually Gege kind of does a passive segue between fights ending and new fights beginning. Like even with the Yuta fight, he did this like mini exchange between Ishigori and Yuta before like transitioning over to Hakari and Charles, right? On the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if that's what we're gonna see next chapter when Hakari, like presumably, Hakari cross paths with Kashimo. They get to scrapping. Hakari, puts up the greatest fight Kashimo's ever seen so far in the Culling Games, but he ultimately loses, and then boom, one of two things happen: either it's Maki or Yuji. And if it's Yuji, I'm just saying, like, I can't. My main thing for this arc is that I just really want to see Sukuna come back, dude. I want to see Sukuna pop out in the Culling Games. I can't wait for Yuji to max out like 6,000 points with the amount of people Sukuna's gonna kill, bro.
Hmm. Yeah. Seeing Sukuna would be pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways it could go. I mean, I'm personally rooting for Kashimo if he does meet up against Hakari. I'd want him to win. Um, I don't know. The direction I guess things have been going maybe imply that like Hakari would win just because all the protagonists have been winning recently. But I hope that's not the case for this fight. Hope Kashimo sticks around for a while and he's like this kind of like ongoing thorn in their side.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well,
because I think he has the charisma and power for it.
all right. So I'm giving you here's a little choose your own adventure scenario. You ready?
Sure.
Okay, you get one of three options for the next immediate chapter, like storyline, right? Or basically the next group of couple chapters. One, we get to see Megumi versus Angel, how that's playing out. Two,
Sure.
Maki enters the fray, and three is Kashimo versus Hakari. Choose.
Megami and Angel.
Megumi. Okay. I was also teetering towards that, but I want to know your thought process before I give you my answer, and I want to see chat's
Megumi,
answers too.
Megami is my favorite.
Hey, yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, sorry, internet troubles.
You're good.
Oh, damn it.
I was about to see the hustle.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fixed. Hopefully. that was that. I always hate when that happens. Oh no, damn. We fell down like 30 concurrent viewers. I'm so sorry, chat. Please come back.
Anywho, Hakari, Yuta, and Gojo put him on a high pedestal. Wait, don't underestimate Hakari. Yuta and Gojo put him on a high pedestal. I'm not underestimating him. I think Hakari's pretty strong, but I just don't hope he wins this fight. It's not even about expectations. It's about I don't want him to win.
Damn.
I don't want him to die either. I just don't want him to win this fight.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You call me a hater for the whole Kashimo thing, but here you are hating my boy Hakari, and I just think it's a little
Where did I
hypocritical.
say? You called Kashimo a filler character that's irrelevant. I said I hope Hakari loses the fight. I feel
Yeah,
like we
same thing, bro. Losing
Yeah.
a fight in JJK it's dying. Like, what are you talking about?
You ever seen Yuji lose a fight? He seems to tend to live through those. Not gonna lie to you.
I mean, he actually died during one of them. What are you talking about?
I mean, hey, bro, he got his ass beat by Mahito. He lived that.
I,
Toto came up, saved him. Hanami got beat twice.
and then he
Through
died.
those.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he died in a separate. They died in a separate fight, not in that fight. Losing a fight don't mean you die.
Oh, fine. Losing 2 fights in a row. Is that better for you?
Hanami lost through. No, it was two.
It was
You're
two
right, you're right.
times. Yeah, Mahito,
Yeah.
like, at that point, like, nature was gonna kill Nanami. Half his face was gone. Like, come on.
Yeah. You lose 2 fights in a row, sure. You might use Hakari versus Kashima to highlight how much of Jackpot boosts Hakari. Yeah, that's very possible, and that's kind of why I'm hoping. Like, I'm putting all my hopes and praise that Kashima washes him.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, I feel like if you Hakari, it's cool to have him be strong, but I feel like I still want Kashima to be very dominant, like in this fight, like to the point where like it almost puts into question Hakari's strength.
Damn,
Oh,
dude.
that's just me.
You a hater for real? That's crazy.
I just want like we've had solid antagonists, but I want a solid like longer running antagonist. We've had Higuruma, we've had Ishiguro, we have Ura. I want one that's like a little bit like longer lasting.
I mean, do you just want it from the sense of like you want to see one of these battles be lost?
I want to see one of these battles be lost, but I want to feel some tension. I'm not feeling the tension right now. Like there is tension to be felt. Like, oh, it's the Culling Games. Oh, go just see it. Blah 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 blah. But none of that's in my face at the moment, right? If Sukuna pops out, I'm gonna feel the tension. If Kashimo beats Hakari, one of the heavy hitters, I'm gonna feel the tension. Megami has to deal with Angel, I'm gonna feel the tension. right? I just need to feel something. I need to
Damn.
feel some intensity from the cooling games.
Okay. You know what? I feel what you're saying, but I also think you have to consider that Megami's kind of on his deathbed right now.
I
So
mean, he just passed out. He's not even that like he's. I mean, assuming Angel doesn't have negative intentions, which is granted a pretty big assumption.
yes,
He's not even. He's just gonna pass out and wake back up, right? Like
I mean
he's
you
fine.
you know there is a kind of an Occam's razor angle I want to take with Angel, and I think it's something that weirdly not a lot of people consider just because of how like almost dumb it is, just on a basic level. You ready?
Mm.
What if, and hear me out here, Angel is just another player in the Cullen games, and a guy who is basically mostly dead just walked up to her, and all she has to do is finish the job to get his points. Crazy as it may
Uh,
seem.
yeah, crazy as it may seem. I mean, I don't know. We've seen a lot of Cooling Games members that wouldn't do that. So
I know, but also, just throwing it out there, if that happens, that's technically a twist because we've seen the overwhelming majority do not, in fact, behave like that, like you just said. So, reasonably, that'd be a pretty big twist. You know, that's such a gay move right there.
killing Megami off screen or something like that, I don't think is a gay move.
Um,
I would beg to differ.
yeah, bro. If this is how Megami dies, one, that's gonna be so fucking funny, and
I'm
two,
dropping JJK for real, and I'm slandering her for the rest of my life.
dude, I can't wait to see your fucking villain arc after that. That'd be that every single upload. I'm gonna write first plus L plus Megami dead plus you lost. Oh,
And then the Under podcast will disband just like that.
oh,
It'll disappear.
oh, come on, come
Nah,
on.
it'll disappear. It'll be extinguished, reduced to ashes even.
The
Um,
rebrand from Broken Ronin to the Dishonored one.
anyways,
All
let's
right.
see. I don't know why people want to see Kashimo fight Sukuna. He's just gonna get curb stomped. I disagree.
Yes, he is.
Um,
Spit, dude.
I wouldn't listen to him, guys. He's the one who said Kashimo won't even win any of his fights. But you know,
Oh, hold on. That is such a mischaracterization. But it's so like you, Broken Ronin. Ugh, absolutely abysmal. Reggie is
you guys,
Reggie cursed the boy. Now it's all in to kill Megami. Is that how curses work? It's weird. In JJK, I've hardly ever seen like an actual textbook curse. Isn't that wild?
the fuck? What do you mean you haven't actually seen a textbook curse?
Like I'm talking like I curse you and your family to have this thing, or like you guys are, my bloodline is cursed by a witch, and now, kind of like Black Clover.
I
What's
mean,
her name?
Yuji's kind of cursed. That's the whole reason he's here.
Okay,
Um,
but like cursed as in, not in a very like a witch's curse, because I think Reggie's curse was kind of like a you are like fuck you, bro, and these are my last words. I kind of expected like kind of a physical representation that like he was actually using the last of his cursed energy to curse Megami, like some kind of ribbon, some kind of like glow effect. You know what I'm
I think
talking
that's
about?
just anything that happens when a sorcerer will die. Like if they have those words, I think it's just a rule of the verse that you're gonna be cursed in some way, shape, or form. I think Maki's been cursed by Mai's words. I think Yuji was cursed with his grandfather's words. I think Yuji was cursed with Nanami's words.
It's funny.
I
Wait,
just
so
think it.
do you count those as like actual curses, or do you count those as like psychological curses?
I mean, I think curses are like inherently psychological. I don't think they like. I don't think the curses that you're referring to actually manifest in that way. They like. I think they somewhat have to do with like your fate rather than like, oh, this thing is now attached to you and is going to like attack you. I think it's just tied with your fate. So Yuji's now fated to be in this like very disgusting, aggressive, dangerous world that has like broken him completely several times. In fact,
Oh,
Maki is
hold on.
cursed by Mai's words.
You first makes a great point. Didn't the principal curse the guitar dude when he told him how he made Panda? So that's an interesting discussion, right? What is that curse? Like he didn't, because usually with like Yuji's grandfather, it's like help people, and that's Yuji's curse, right? With Principal Yaga, the curse, like the thing that he is inflicting upon Gakuganji, seems to have been kind of like off-screened or like not shown because usually it's not so much I curse you, but it's I curse you in this way, and that just didn't happen in that interaction. So I'm curious how he cursed him.
Yeah, I don't think we have really any idea. Um, yeah, I don't
Last,
know. Maybe he'll be cursed to show up and try to save Panda. Maybe he'll like sacrifice himself against Kashima.
you know what it might be? It might be that when Principal Gaku Ganji tries to make cursed corpse like soldiers, because characters like them, like him, tend to do that a lot. They're like, oh yeah, we got to figure out a way to make X, Y, and Z stronger. And especially if he's the head of the conservative faction of JJK, which has like been shown to be kind of the recurring villains all throughout. Then when he goes to make new cursed corpses based off Yaga's like instructions, they all turn against him in the end or something crazy like that. Like the most fucking like the biggest payoff ever.
Yeah, maybe they could all cry as they go up to him and like tear him apart.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you rather have mid cursed energy with cursed technique and domain expansion, or massive cursed energy with all your techniques, i.e., amplification reverse? This seems like the easiest choice ever. I don't know what exactly the hard part of making this decision is. Maybe curses are linked to binding vowels. Can we talk about Kashimo not needing a domain for a sure hit? Yeah, that's cool, but again, bro, it's against Panda. Come on, let's not kid ourselves here. I want to see him try to pull that shit against somebody who could fight back. Fight back.
I don't know, bro. Yuji ain't doing that to Panda.
Yuji
ain't one shot.
Yo,
Yuji ain't one shot
okay,
Panda.
that is no. Defend this point. Defend this point. I want to see you do it.
Yuji's never shown the ability to do it. There.
What?
Boom.
What are you
Point
talking
defended.
about, bro? Yuji with cursed
Show me where he
energy
one-shots Panda.
stomps Panda.
I'm not saying he doesn't win. I'm saying he can't one shot. I don't think he's one shotting Panda like that.
Okay.
I just don't think it's happening.
What level of diff here? What are we talking about?
Yuji mid diffs Panda, whereas Kashima no diffed him.
Hold on. Mid diff including his sister?
Yes.
That's, you know what? Fine. That's technically acceptable. I'm willing to move past this. I'm willing to forgive you. I'm willing to move on and make amends.
Yeah. I mean,
I choose peace today.
he's just not what I don't think he's one-shotting Gorilla Panda either though. And I think he's actually taking some real damage if he gets hit with unblockable drumming beat.
Yuji can't one-shot Panda. The fact that Panda couldn't fight back is a feat. Yeah, I guess. Creams your wild and lol. He's one of the few special grade sorcerers we've seen.
We don't know that, guys.
Yeah.
You're saying a lot. Like, I agree, but we don't say it matter of factly like we know. I would say it's pretty heavily implied.
Yeah, and also,
know.
they're not sorcerers. They're cursed users, if you want to be technical. So they have no official designation. Can you use domain amplification when you don't have a domain expansion? Probably not. Wait, no. Yes, you can. Isn't that what Hanami did with Jogo and them at the beginning of?
Hanami has a domain.
What was the domain active?
No. I think he's asking if you can if you
Oh,
have a domain,
like you don't have a domain. Period. Oh, I thought they meant like activated.
I'd imagine so. That's like the entire point. Like for like weaker, less skilled sorcerers to be able to like counter stronger opponents.
Especially the
If
sister.
you one shots with Black Flash though, sure. Yes, if he gets his power raised to 2.5 like exponentially, sure, yes, probably. But like imagine what Kashimo's doing with the Black Flash.
Yeah, that's true. We had this not argument but like debate a while back, conversation, where we were talking about how strong certain sorcerers were with cursed amplification, and I think it was you who said something like, yeah, it was you. It was definitely you. I remember now. You said something like Gojo with cursed energy amplification is physically superior to Maki and Toji.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Well, not probably. Actually, yes, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, now that we've had experience with more characters that kind of fill in like abstract, in between levels of power, I'm wondering if you extend that across the board to somebody like Kashimo, like Ishigori, like Ishigori with cursed energy. Do you think he solos Maki?
It depends on how strong you think Yuta is. If you think Yuta with like cursed energy amplification is stronger than Gojo with cursed energy, like physically only.
No, I think Gojo's still like at the very top of it, just because of how he was able to like handle all of his opponents like physically.
I don't know. Are Jogo and Hanami that impressive physically? Like,
Yeah, because you remember the level of punishment they took from Yuji and Toto, like, consistently?
sure, yeah, but a weaker Yuji and a weaker Toto,
Yeah, but
like,
that was like 4 or 5 black flashes, and then the playful cloud hits from Toto. You know what I
well,
mean?
for Jogo, we know he would have died. Like Jogo is just stated to have like if that happened to him, he would have lost.
Yeah,
He's
but
much more durable.
we've that's what I love about JJK's power system. Jogo could defeat Hanami because fire burns wood, but a black flash has like works more effectively against Jogo just because like his physical composition isn't as dense as Hanami's.
Yeah, he just has less durability. He's weaker.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, maybe. Um.
We haven't seen a
Like
black flash since Shibuya. That's wild. Wait, for real?
we have not.
We have seen black flash start of Culling Game. When? He needs to charge you first. Considering Angel is 1,000 years old and can nullify curse techniques, could it be she fought against Sukuna and helped in defeating him? See, that I would believe, right? That I would believe way more
Bro,
than
bro's willing to
Kashima.
believe a character we haven't seen fight or even speak is closer to Sukuna than someone we've actually had show
Hold
explore.
on,
You're just
that's
a
not what I
hater.
said. That's
You're
not what
just
I
a
said.
hater.
That is not
You
even
literally
what.
said I'd be I'd
That's
be
not what I
I'd be
said.
willing to believe Angel helped beat Sukuna, but not Kashimo. Angel
One,
hasn't uttered a word.
one,
Angel hasn't said anything. She hasn't done
one.
anything.
Helped is the operative word here. It didn't say
But Kashima, but you were
soloed.
like, "God, it's impossible for Kashimo.
No,
He's a filler character.
bro, Angel has
He's a
like
filler
actual hacks.
character."
What are you talking about? Angel's hacks are so much better than fucking Kashima's techniques. What are you talking about?
We don't even know how they work for sure. You can't say that. You don't know what the conditions are. You don't know what the requirements are. We just know it can extinguish techniques.
Dude.
There are a lot of abilities that on paper sound very strong, but when you think about the context of how they're used, it's not really as impressive as you'd
The
think.
literal second I see Kashima versus Sukuna and Angel comes back, bro. Ooh, I'm gonna be so obnoxious when it's
I'm
shown
not even
empirically that Angel's
Oh
technique
God.
is just absolutely fucking broken, and she just looks at you and she's just like, okay, gone, no curse technique for you, none.
I'm not saying it's impossible. All I'm saying is you're assuming a lot, right, for a character that I don't think has uttered a single thing and hasn't done a single thing in the series that would indicate power or hacks. I'm just saying. I'm saying you're being very charitable to Angel, but not Kashimo. Whereas Kashimo had a whole chapter of him beating ass. But hey,
Bro.
you do you, man. All I'm saying
Listen,
is the
negation
double standard
techniques.
going kind of crazy.
Listen, negation techniques are just more broken than being sort of really strong. That is fundamentally what my take is.
So
If you,
you're saying Angel would beat Sukuna since she has negation techniques versus Sukuna just being really strong?
I mean, would you? Okay, out of the 3 tiers of power, right? You have adaptability techniques like Maharagas, you have negation techniques like Angels, and then you have just like being strong, like I don't know, Gojo, right? Out of those 3, next to being OP, I'm just saying nullification, kind of the same effect in a roundabout way. So
There you have it, folks. Angel
Joe,
greater than
Sukuna?
Sukuna in co-host Cream's
yeah,
eyes.
yeah. Angel
so,
one shots Gojo.
Yeah, that's the idea.
All I'm saying is that when Tengen was given his little speech, he pointed to the inverted spear of heaven, Miguel's black rope, and Angel's technique as being the only 3 things in existence to erase a curse technique. I'm just saying, if he's
Sure.
putting her in the same tier as the inverted
you-
spear of heaven, an
wanna
item
harp-
Gojo is
Hold
very
on.
familiar with.
Do you want to harp on how efficient Black Rope is, or do you want to like conveniently leave that out as a negating ability?
Hold
How
on.
did Black Rope work on Gojo?
Kind of well. He got through the
not
infinity.
really.
He got through the infinity, didn't
Not
he?
really,
It's just because
dude.
Miguel was ass,
didn't-
bro.
He didn't. He still. It's not because Miguel's ass. He's literally using the curse tool that you're like. It's so hype. It negates abilities. All I'm saying is negation abilities don't have to be as broken as you're making them out to seem. They can be, right? There's the potential to be, but all I'm saying is Black Rope did not clinch the fight the way you're implying like negation techniques would be able to. Miguel still got bullied to the point where I have to question if Gojo's like Zoro, right? Like the Black Rope. It gave Gojo a little rug burn, right? But I don't know if it's that crazy, right?
Fine. I'm willing to pull back a little bit, just a tiny bit, and say, I'm not saying something as crazy as like Angel low diffs Gojo. Fine, I'm willing. Yeah, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for you, Br.
I'm saying, do we even know if she can take Gojo's abilities, bruh? Let's be
Are
honest.
you Okay, now you're
Gojo,
pushing me.
I'm gonna say this: Gojo has resisted ability negation before, twice actually,
Look,
twice.
all I'm saying is that, yeah, I'm not gonna say it on stream.
I'm saying Gojo has ability erasure resistance. He did it with domain amplification. He's just like, damn, this takes away my technique. No, right? And
No.
then he also did it with black rope. He was like, it's kind of messing with my technique a bit. He gets a little rug burn on his hand, and it like erases the thing that's actually
Yeah,
attacking
bro.
him.
And then he committed a hate crime. What is this about? Like,
Yeah, and then guess what? What did he use? He used red. Yeah, he
no.
spammed. He used red to blast off a curse's dome. I don't know. His curse technique seems pretty active.
And hands. Yo, thank you, Luca. Yeah, then Gojo, like, used his hands and then punished Miguel for a bit before whipping out his curse techniques. That's how you know that shit was personal, by the way.
That just helps my point. Curse technique negation does not have to be broken.
Kashimo still doesn't have a feat that would say he would be able to fight Sukuna as well. Thank you, Justin. Bro,
She didn't say different. I'm saying it's narratively implied.
Bro, she's just removing the techniques. You don't know how strong she is physically. I think she's about as physically strong as Maki. I'm kidding.
That's wild.
I'm kidding. Aren't we forgetting about Karara? Maybe he'll appear in the next few chapters since he's outside the colony. Why would he appear if he's outside the colony? You know?
I'm pretty sure Hakari told him to stay, told them to stay still.
Yeah, outside, right? We don't know if Angel could handle Maki.
Possible.
What's there to handle? You know, like Maki's got no cursed energy, no cursed techniques. Like obviously Angel gets low diffed. Rope and spear are temporary erasures with rope breaking in like 20 minutes.
20 minutes is excessive, bro.
Yeah.
It broke like twice when he just touched him.
And also the inverted spear of heaven is like the fucking gold standard of cursed technique erasure.
And even that, it has to be like embedded in them to work. Like it has like not strict requirements, right? But like if it doesn't hit them, their technique is still active. So if he like stabs you and then pulls it out, you now have your technique again. I'm not saying that's not broken. I'm just saying even with like examples of broken ability removal, there are still like ways to just avoid it outright.
What does this say? What do y'all think of mirror? Okay, I'm gonna save that one for just a second. That's a wild conversation. All we really know about Angel's technique is that it negates other techniques. There could be some crazy conditions to balance it. Like, what if she negates all techniques, including her other ones? Where's it been stated that she has other ones? You know, being mentioned in the same light doesn't mean much. All we really know about Angel's tech is that it. Oh, I already read that. What do y'all think of? Okay, so this one. What do y'all think Miwa's power up gonna be? Miwa has a power up? Question mark. Where's this coming from? Source?
You're gonna get the power, bro.
What's her power up?
On the wrong side of history again.
Oh my god. There is no way. Okay, I'm willing to forgive Kashimo because I could see like a reasonable assumption being made. But fucking Miwa? No.
Okay, I'll say this. Explain why she has that like very in-depth monologue versus Genjaku, and then explain why she's in the Culling Games now. If she's not going to be very relevant later on.
I'm not talking about relevancy. I'm talking like power.
In order to be relevant, she needs power. It's just a non-negotiable thing.
But in JJK, you literally can't be like significantly, demonstrably more powerful than you were before. Like you can be.
That's just not true.
Yes, you can. Okay, hold on.
You can drop from grade 4 to special grade.
Hold on. This is not including any exceptions like Yuta, and B, it's also not including things just like technical ability with Megumi, right?
Not including examples. It's not including examples, yes.
Yuta is literally an exception.
If you disregard examples, yes, you can disregard examples. I agree. Like, I'm saying, yes, characters can get massively stronger in short spans of time. Yuji's done it, and doesn't even have a technique. Megumi's done it, and he didn't even learn any new abilities. All he did is like really master the one he currently had. Like do you think like these characters don't just start out at like grade 1 if they reach there, right? They have to
Dude,
like
hold on.
evolve their current abilities.
So fucking power scale Miwa right now, just based off speculation alone. I wanna hear how strong you think she's gonna be. She low diffs Kenjaku? What? Question mark?
Probably.
Insane
Probably.
take. Insane take right now.
I don't know. She'll probably hit like grade 1 somewhere around there. Some
Kenjaku
like pretty
is
mid to high grade 1.
Kenjaku is horribly special grade. What are you talking about?
He's right where Geto is.
He's
Maybe a little
stronger.
bit better because he has idle transfiguration now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll admit he's stronger because he has idle transfiguration now. No other reason though.
and more experience. Yo, you're really pushing me right now, BR. I'm starting to feel my inner toxicity.
There's just no reason to say he's much stronger outside of idle transfiguration.
Miwa could have
There
trained
simply
with
is
that
no
guy
reason.
who blocked Uzumaki. Are you saying Kusakabe could have
Kusakabe.
stopped Kenjaku? Because also that, what are you talking about? The logic flows that
I
Miwa
mean,
needs.
Kusakabe stopped his maximum technique, bruh.
Dude, I will shield for Kusakabe every day of the week, right? But that was a defensive attack, which is kind of the new Shadow style specialty, right? I don't begrudge that, right? What I'm saying is that on offense, Miwa's kind of been shown to be absolute dog shit. She couldn't even handle Maki pre-awakening. Like, what are we doing here?
Okay. What about it? Like, what's the point? Yuji couldn't 1v1 Mahito, like an infant Mahito in one of his earlier fights. So what?
Okay, what is the? Paint me a picture here. Make me understand the vision. I need to hear this pitch. Go. Why is Miwa gonna suddenly go from like grade 4 barely to like special grade?
She's like a grade 3, grade 2. But anyways, I didn't say special grade, and I just think she's gonna get stronger. She has way too much screen time for someone that's just gonna be irrelevant. I think from like a writing perspective, it would be wasteful of pages to give her the like 2 to 3 page monologue where she's throwing away her past, her present, and her future all to like in this final swing or whatever.
Oh, you
And then
think it's
having
a Gon power up?
I mean, if it was a Gon power up, she would have got it right then and there, because that's what she was doing. I think what's happening is it's just negativity being negativity, right? If you lose Mekamaru, if you lose like there's a lot of things she could have possibly lost. Her family could be in massive danger right now or even dead, right? If she lost both of those things combined, I don't know if it's very hard to believe that in a power system that bases itself on the control of negative energy, that a lot of loss could lead to a power up.
This is honestly a little bit crazy town, just a little bit, but I'm like the main thing this is coming from is the whole she's beating Kenjaku thing. She literally can't do that without being special grade.
I'm not saying I was joking. I don't think she's beating
Oh,
Kinjaku.
bro, I how am I supposed to know if you're joking or not?
Because you were like, she solos Kinjaku, and I said yes.
That was a joke. See what I mean? See how easy it is to be gullible?
God damn, bro.
That's what I
Anyways,
fucking thought. That's what I
all
fucking
I'm
thought.
saying, all I'm saying is, Miwa, like, think about it from like an author's perspective, right? What reason does Gege have to include her if she's not going to be relevant to the narrative?
Uh, that's a good argument. I'm not, that wasn't my issue with what you said. The issue with what you said just came from like she's gonna be significant from a power fighting perspective, and that's like the thing that was kind of like throwing me off. Like unless she's
And
helping counter a domain or something, like. Come on, man. How much support is Miwa gonna really contribute, like
and
directly in a
then,
one v
so
one?
here's the thing: if you agree that she, like, from a writing perspective, Gigi's probably like building her up to be relevant, right? In an arc called the Killing Games, where like the entire point is to gain points, right, by killing people and fighting against people. The only way to be relevant is to be strong, right, or to be useful in combat, right? So if you agree she's going to have plot relevance, you almost by necessity agree that she's going to get strong enough to be relevant to the plot. Like I'm not even saying she's going to be stronger than like current Megami and Yuji. I'm not saying it's that crazy, but what I'm saying is she's going to get, I think, much stronger, because I think from a writing standpoint it would not make sense to include her in like two times where she's like sticking her nose where it's not inherent, like she's not being pulled into this fight, right? She is going into it herself. She has her relationship with Mekamaru. She has like a relationship with her siblings and things like that, where she's like willing to throw that all away to fight Kenjaku, and she fails. She utterly fails. Her blade is snapped, and we see her walking pretty ominously, mind you, through the Sendai colony. At least we can assume, seeing as how like the wreckage kind of is similar to like what happened with Ishigori. Like with the granite blast, kind of looks somewhat like the wreckage after that. But regardless, right? She's walking through the Culling game somewhere. I think it'd be weird to give her that precious like page time, because we know how like limited mangaka are in their chapters. There's no narrative reason to include her if she's not going to be somewhat relevant to the plot.
One of us is gonna get vindicated
Very true.
in these next couple chapters, and I'm just to kind of like make my point cemented in stone here. Uh, I think she's going to be relevant narratively, but I don't think that's through the vehicle of her getting significantly stronger via like power.
Okay.
And that's my take.
Offer an alternative way she can be relevant in a arc that is almost primarily based on fighting, where she isn't relevant in a battle.
Easily support role. Somebody whips out a
That's
domain.
still being rel-
You know, I'm
that's still
talking,
being relevant in a
bro.
battle.
I'm talking.
Countering a domain.
She can already do
What?
that though, right? That's my whole thing. The way you
Yes,
phrased
but
it
she
was
was like
like she like solos
what?
Kashimo, right?
Yeah.
That's her. That's how she
What
contributes.
what I'm saying is, who cares if she opens a simple domain and she's finding the domain? The person she's supporting will still die.
Then maybe she could figure out a way to extend it beyond her. Like that's what I
Then and let me explain why she still needs to be stronger to do that. Because if she's a weak link to the point where she can be taken out in few hits, which we're saying she's like currently like a grade 3, you literally could blitz in one shot her, and now you're back to square one, right? Because if we're going up against someone that has a domain, you're probably a grade 1, right? At bare minimum, maybe a special grade.
Fine.
If you're any of those ranks, you are blitzing Miwa, and you are literally one shotting her if you're saying she's a grade 3. I think she has to be stronger, at least strong enough to somewhat hold her own. Because even in the example you provided, you could get rid of like that a simple domain user if they're abysmally weaker than you very easily, very easily. It's not that difficult to do.
So I ask you one more time, right? What are you envisioning for her big power up? Like how do you see it? Because I see it in a supporting role, right? What are you seeing?
I'm not even saying I don't see it in a supporting role. I'm saying she just has to get physically stronger. Like she'd have to be able to like react to these other combatants. She has to be able to like go back and forth with him. She can't be sub like Maki level in terms of like
Pre or post?
pre-awakening.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
pre-awakening,
Okay, fine.
right?
I
If she's
agree. Like a physical boost would definitely like bump her way up, right? I'll
and I
even
think and I
I'll
think
I'll
the
even
easiest way to do that is just cursed energy amp.
I'll
It
even
just gets a
give
bigger
you
one.
I'll even give you a little olive branch, right? I think she can hit a black flash. Like I think that's what her power up's gonna be.
Sure, maybe. All I'm saying is I think she's gonna get stronger in a considerable way. Is she gonna be the top tier, the top echelon of the verse? Probably not. But like I do think she's gonna get stronger.
All right, fine. I think that's a nice place to end the debate. How about you? If you want to make any closing thoughts about it.
Yeah. Do I think anything else about Miwa? No, I don't think I do. I don't think I have any more thoughts for. I think we're good.
All right. So do we? Is there like any other part of the chapter we should address? Like Panda just got like smoked here. There's not much else that
Yeah.
happened. So
Yeah. It was really just Panda getting put on display,
yeah,
getting bullied.
uh, Panda could have gone to a zoo and then been less exposed. That was a bad joke. I don't know. I don't feel I don't feel as confident without like the edit button at my disposal. You know. Now
without the
everybody.
without the edit, bro. Now everybody
Yeah.
can just see it. They can just see it. They can just like no, they're judging you.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, but I mean
Bareback
the
honored ones.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think it was pretty straightforward. I feel like all things considered. Um, I feel like in these next whatever chapters decide to cover Kashima, we're gonna have a lot of fun scaling things because I feel like I think he's gonna be real strong. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Waiting for a siren to go by.
Gotcha.
So I need you to take over here.
I got you. I'll take over. Chat. What are y'all talking about? Let me see. Anyone can do Black Flash if they concentrate, sure, but there are people more profound, not profound, but more proficient with Black Flash usage, i.e. UG. Support role barely exists in JJK verse, though. I can only think of the Nurse Who Healed UG. I mean, if you think of like a tank, like she could be like a tank class fighter. But I think to be a tank class fighter, she still requires more power.
And honestly, I kind of disagree with that sentiment about support roles because, like, what the fuck are Toto and Megami then, right?
So
Like,
does a fucking brawler, and so is
not Megami,
Megami.
fucking Nobara. Like Nobara and Yuji, like that was a great teamwork fight. Like, come on, guys.
Well, I think they're both supporting each
Oh,
other, but I don't think they're support fight like
hold on.
type
I actually got
fighters.
more. Nanami and Yuji, Nobara and Yuji.
No. I think you're conflating teaming up and like being a support class type fighter. Like
Oh,
Nanami and Yuji are both brawlers. Like they don't have abilities that typically work well together, right? Not that they work particularly bad, but they just both hit people really hard,
I
right?
know, but
Um,
it was definitely it felt like support because it's not like Nanami's damage was gonna stick to Mahito in the same way Yuji's was.
Sure, it is support, but what I'm saying is, like being able to support somebody while you fight is different than being a support class or a support type fighter. Because yeah, Yuji supported Toto in their fight. Would you classify Yuji as a support type fighter?
Okay, I see what you mean. So, what about fuck, man,
There
support?
aren't many because if
Yeah,
you
like
think about it, right?
exclusively, yeah, there aren't any.
What is like the like one of the themes of JJK, right? How do you get strong? You fight for
Alone,
yourself. It's
yeah.
yeah, you fight alone. It is an individual sport in the words of Gojo. A support type fighter like kind of goes against the grain in that sense.
Okay. All right. I can definitely see that in the verse of JJK. I guess I always kind of assumed like people who pair up in groups and stuff, like Maki, Panda, and Inumaki, were very much like teamwork makes the dream work. But even then, they are just partners. Not any one of them is like the ace.
Hmm.
Um,
And Maki has actually like in like Volume Zero, like a pretty interesting comment about like flocking together. I don't know if you remember it, right?
hmm?
But she's like curses team up if they're weak. Like they tend to flock together, and they're like, I guess that applies to humans. So you could just make a comment that, yeah, typically if characters will like fight in larger groups, that typically is indicative of them just being weak and subpar.
All right. All right. Um, yeah. Man, we're like really blasting through our like conversation topics today. It feels like this is a faster paced episode for some reason. You know, we've only been recording an hour and a half, less even, and that's including the preamble of setting up the stream.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Ouch. Shoulder hurts. But yeah. Yeah. I feel like we being pretty straightforward. I don't know. Chat, do you guys got any crazy questions for us? Any like particular topics you want to see us cover,
Yeah.
JJK related?
Or anything else. How are you guys enjoying
Anything else?
the stream, by the way? And also, you know, I want just to reiterate because we got some new people in here. Make sure to like this stream. I want to see if it actually has a tangible effect on the video's performance. We're on 66 likes and like 90 concurrent viewers. So if you're here, make sure to like this the stream. You know, smash the like button if you will.
Question for you. Think Kashimo's curse technique can pass through Gojo's infinity since he's sending positive proton, which is not dangerous by itself, without negative proton, so would infinitely not consider
No,
it as a threat to Gojo. I
no.
think go ahead.
I think we. What's your answer? Because I'm saying it's not passing.
I'm saying it's not passing because it's cursed
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, and also
Not like
Gojo's able to select what goes in and out, and that includes like actual real physical objects, not just shit with cursed energy.
I also think the speed of the things moving, because he says he filters it out by like mass, speed, cursed energy, and a bunch of other different factors.
Mm?
If he has something moving at the speed of lightning towards him, he probably just identifies this as inherently threatening to him, and it'll just block it.
Yeah. So stream has been awesome. Thanks, man. We really appreciate it. Um, Was Gojo surviving against Toji and Aspel? No. No, because Gojo's been consistently shown to be like a very special kind of being. And so I think that was like the right kick in the pants, like to have his awakening.
Yeah. I also don't really consider it much of an ass pull. I mean, you can kind of say it is, maybe. I don't know, because it's like because it's a flashback, right? So we as the viewers aren't meant to assume Gojo's dead. We know he's not dead, right? This is a flashback. The purpose of this scene is not supposed to, like, unlike other scenes where, say, like, if Gojo were like killed by Sukuna, right, or like his head was cut off, right,
Huh?
and then he like comes back, you could argue, yeah, that's probably an asshole. But the reason it's an asshole is because we can reasonably expect Gojo to have died or lost from that. But in a flashback, you'd have to be a moron. Like you have to have hit your head several times as a child, right? To think that in a flashback where we know Gojo's still alive, that he died against Toji, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that fact combined, like the act of Gojo being alive is in itself like foreshadowing that he survived against Toji somehow.
The Honored Ones podcast. How will Yuji's power look against Kashimo? I think Yuji honestly is like performing about twice as good as Panda in gorilla mode. Like, I think really what Yuji's performance is going to be based on is if how many black flashes he can land, how much damage he can
Huh.
inherently do with Divergent Fist, and B, how well he can tank Kashimo's actual attacks. In those respects, right? I think Yuji is still loses. By the way, just to make that very clear. He loses either way. But I think in that case, it's the difference between getting low diffed and then getting mid diffed. What about you?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like he's getting low diffed probably. I
You,
think it's not to the same extent Panda is, but
wait, even with all the
Yuji,
conditions I laid out, Black Flash and everything.
I don't think he's landing a Black Flash. I'm not sure he may usually may hit him one, two, maybe three times. I don't think he's landing a Black Flash in any of those attacks. Yuji kind of what Yuji needs to do to get Black Flash is he typically needs to be like he needs to fight long enough to get pushed into a corner, and even that's not even the case like all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yuji really needed a Black Flash versus Choso, and he didn't get one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's not like he can just, even though he's very talented when it comes to that, he can't use it at will. And I don't think that if in a short battle like this, because I think Kashimo's handling him quickly, I don't think Yuji's lasting very long.
All right. Um, that's what. How well do you think Yuji can take the damage of Kashima's just base techniques?
It's kind of difficult because like
Because he is more durable, like objectively, like far more durable than Panda. Like I would say the difference, like if you were to compare strength, crystal energy, everything, the biggest stat difference is definitely durability defense.
I think it'd just be strength and durability. I think Yuji's strength is just very relative to his durability.
True, but I think like the fact that he's able to take different kinds of punishment is also consideration in durability, right? Like he's naturally immune to poisons, for example. Like that's a hard thing to quantify in a durability stat, but I would count it, right?
I think it's just a resistance to poisons. I don't think so. Like if I have a resistance to poisons, I can still get stabbed. Like it doesn't make me
Yeah.
any more
No, no,
durable.
no.
It means
I'm
like I
I'm
have a
giving an
certain
example
resistance.
of like
Oh, okay.
yeah, of like special circumstances and durability fee. Like I don't think it's been shown that Yuji has any particular durability to electrical attacks, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like because Panda compared it to Nue, which I found super interesting because Nue's attack I always felt was like the effect is paralysis, but the visual cue is electricity. Similar in that like Hakari's like show of like the people catching the trains and everything doesn't really have much to do with the actual technique aside from being a visual representation of the effect that's about to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always thought it's like a taser type effect. It just you get hit, you're stunned, and you're like, oh fuck. Um.
Really? So you think
Yeah.
the effect is like tangible with like cause and effect, not just visual flair then effect?
Yeah, I think it's cause and effect. I think it is, like for example, when Nue hits Momo, I think it is she gets shocked. The shock paralyzes her nervous system temporarily, and she's just therefore stuck.
Ah, okay. I see what you mean. All right, I can get down with that. Lastly, Miwa will be important in spreading NSS to the people of Japan, as cursed energy will become the norm and folks will need to a way to defend themselves. I like, I've always been a subscriber of Yuki's philosophy being the dominating one, because it always seemed like the end goal was definitely going to be cursed energy just gets removed like off the face of the earth. Like I definitely think she's gonna win in the end.
Mm.
Um,
Maybe.
I think Kashimo in a hand-to-hand fight is much more buffed Chozo. That's being a hater right there. Oh no. He says Yuji gets low diff. Never mind. Um, why do you think older sorcerers are stronger than current day? Because they've been stated to be. What?
No, I think he's saying. I think he's saying why. Like, what is the reason? Not why. Why
Oh,
is it the case?
so I
Like,
thought. Yeah, my bad. I
I
read.
think that's how I read it
Yeah,
personally.
no. It just I read the word think as say, so I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, my bad. Um, why do I? Because honestly, um, I think it's just it has to do with the circumstances of that time. Like back then, it was kind of implied that it was like a constant battle for survival, or alternatively, it was like an age of warriors, so to speak. So they were just constantly fighting more and more and more and more. So that honestly could be it. Right now, current day sorcerers, aside from like Japanese ones, for example, and that's another thing, right? Is like Tengen's participation in closing off the barriers to cursed energy from the rest of the world. So it's like all in Japan. It's like localized within the borders of Japan, so they kind of have a monopoly on cursed energy there. Um, I don't think that same circumstance was happening back then. So yeah,
Yeah. I just think it's kill or be killed, so people naturally start to adapt to it's just literally evolution. I feel like it is if curses are always going to be after you, and Zorshar are going to always be after curses. It like kind of feels this like yin and yang strength increase.
how strong is Yuta in fingers? If you had to guess, 13, 12, 13. It would be a very good fight. I ain't gonna lie. The world was probably more savage back then too. Yeah. How strong was Yuta? Yo, did you answer the Yuta one? No, you didn't.
Which one?
How strong is Yuta in Sukuna fingers? I said 12, 13.
15.
Insane num. Oh my god.
I think
Bro,
the whole point is that Yuji thinks Sukuna can be beat by Yuta.
do you?
I think if Yuji thinks it, I have no reason to not believe it currently.
That's crazy shit that you're spewing right now, bro.
Unless you think Sukuna hasn't revealed like a technique that's a game changer. Like I'll say this, Yuta probably would beat the Sukuna that was shown in Shibuya. If you want to say 15 finger Sukuna maybe has more things in the back pocket, sure, I can concede that that is a possibility. But I'm saying I think is implied to be stronger than what Sukuna showed in Shibuya.
Fine, but I'm saying at minimum, it's minimum. Just to reiterate, minimum extreme diff for Yuta.
I'm not sure what gives you that idea.
Bro, the fact that
Uh,
I'm giving you any level of diff in Yuta's favor, you should be thanking me. I think he
I
gets
don't need to be
washed.
thanking you.
Gets washed.
Gege gives me all the reason I need to think that Yuta can beat 15 finger Sukuna.
Oh, in terms of fights that I want to see just to settle our personal disagreements, Yuta versus Sukuna has definitely got to be top of the list, followed by like anybody not named Yuta versus Sendai Colony level threat. So Yuji and Megami versus somebody like fucking Kashima or even Uro, right? Because I think, um, uh, you know, little side tangent here, but I definitely feel like I don't understand. Okay, how the fuck are they beating Kenjaku, right? When all these people within the Cullen games are, as far as like I'm reading them, are kind of like pitched as mini bosses for all these
Uh,
characters. So my whole thing is like, what kind of thing is motivating them to be like, not only are we gonna survive this, but we're gonna fucking kill Kenjaku.
sure, Yuta just liked it apparently. Also, somebody said he has no recollection of events. It's objectively untrue. we know Yuji saw knows what happened in
Yeah.
Shibuya. That's why he feels so guilty.
Uh,
Come on, bro.
can Megumi be a stronger sorcerer if he was raised by the Zenin clan? Probably, but he'd be a
No.
dick. I don't know. No, but my whole thing is like, yes, because they've had the most experience with previous users, so they'd kind of put him on the fast track to like knowing how to use this technique.
When nobody has it though, besides him.
No,
I
no,
don't think.
previous holders. Like it's like how everybody knows about Gojo's red and blue outside of the Gojo clan. You know?
Sure, they know about the technique, but Megumi knows about the technique, and Gojo knows about the Zenin clan technique. Like they're aware of it because it's a family technique. I don't think they have special insight because there's nobody else to give them that special insight. I
Yeah,
think they'd only know what they've seen and heard, which is pretty similar to what Gojo would know, see, and hear.
man. I want to see the rest of the Gojo clan so bad, dude. I want to see them all like in a fucking beach house in Malibu, like all retired because what the fuck do they need to do? You know?
Hold on, hold on. This guy, he saw a dead area erased after Suguna said, "Take a good look, brat." That's true, but that you're literally you're literally removing parts of the scene. He knows that Sukuna killed those two girls, right? And they didn't die in that area. He remembers that they died, so we know for a fact, right, that he remembers things that even Sukuna does not intentionally show him. The
Yeah.
same way that Sukuna has information of the outside world while inside of Yuji is very similar to how Yuji gets it. I think with Yuji though, it's like it flashes into his head immediately after switching. Sort of like
Yeah.
he's barraged with information. But we know Yuji
I
knows
actually
about Sukuna and what he did.
actually take a different approach. I and also just in that fight with Megumi, with Sukuna and Megumi, Yuji heard Megumi's pleads like through Sukuna, so that's also another thing.
Yeah.
But I am also of the mind, and I think a lot of people who like a lot of people know this, but they don't really like know that they know it, in that Yuji is the dominant host. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Yuji's form is the base form that Sukuna transforms into. You know, it's not like Yuji
Yeah.
transforms into two faces, four arms, and even
Yeah.
internally, Sukuna still looks like Yuji. So that's the main thing. Second is the fact that
Yuji.
Yuji controls like every other day of the week that he's not force fed fingers. He controls Sukuna's like comings and goings in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Um,
And also we know what happens is when Gojo tries to see how good of a vessel Yuji would be, right? What he does is he's like switch to Sukuna for 10 seconds.
yeah.
He then counts to 10, says switch back, and Yuji's like, all right, we good,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing not nothing, but like it's very unlikely that Sukuna can stop Yuji from seeing something in his own body.
Yeah. The only thing we know that he could stop him from seeing is the binding vow, and that's because part of the binding vow was that he forgets it.
And even then he doesn't fully forget it, you know, cuz he's still able to answer Gojo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, can we get 100 likes? We're on 89 right now, and I just want to like get this stream to 100 likes for my own satisfaction. And I think we're just about not just about done. Like, is there anything else you want to address? But also like 100 likes. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. Clans have the I don't know. I'm just reading chat at this point. My one complaint is that Yuji asked, "Was it okay?" I mean, I feel like Yuji can be polite because he just let a monster loose,
Damn,
and
bro. I sorry, I said that, and like 2 seconds later, it went up from 89 to like 98. You guys are
nice.
awesome. Wait, go on.
I was just saying because it was supposed to be somewhat of a refutation. I feel like,
Hmm.
but I don't think. I mean, what Gojo follows up with is saying, "Yeah, you really can control it." I don't think Yuji'd be able to control it if he wasn't aware of outside stimulus going on. In fact, Yuji's whole point, if you remember, Yuji knows he can be aware of his outside surroundings. And the reason I say this is because when they're fighting the special grade finger bearer, Yuji's plan is to let Megami get out, switch with Sukuna, force Sukuna to kill the finger bearer for him, and then once it's dead, right? Once he kills it, his intention was to switch back, right? So what now the only reason that doesn't work is because damn, bro, you up for a second, bro. Damn, my ears bleeding. Ears, yeah. Got you, got you. I was about to say, I was like, man, that's crazy. Essentially, essentially, Yuji, like is under the idea that he can tell when something out going on outside is happening, and then make switches appropriately. The only reason he's wrong is because once again, he didn't know that you can't switch with Sukuna without any consequence.
And to touch on the question Chatter asked about the Binding Vow, the way I think Sukuna is going to go about using it, like his big moment, is going to be when it's kind of like a Dragon Ball, they assemble the Dragon Balls and get one wish situation, where Yuji's about to say something or make a decision that's impactful in some way. Boom, Sukuna does it because he doesn't need to hurt anybody. He doesn't need he satisfies all his conditions, and he only needs 30 seconds to like say two sentences. You know what I mean? And that's basically the like Sukuna's big moment to either do some damage, enact his master plan with Urame and Megumi and all that, or C, sorry, just to be a dick to Yuji. I mean,
He could also
yeah,
bluff. He could also like bluff in that minute. Like they don't know. He could lie. Like he could lie his ass off. He could say, "I made a binding vow with Yuji, like that he forgot about, so that I can switch him permanently whenever I want." Right? They
yeah.
don't know. He could say whatever he wants to, and they just have to take him at face value. And like he can get them to do a lot of. He can get Megumi to make a binding vow, so he switches back with Yuji. He can do a lot of things, dude. He could. Yeah. There's a ton of different things he could do with that.
Yeah. By the way, we hit 102 likes. Let's go. You guys are awesome. Um,
Nice.
do you want to touch on like fan things real quick? Just kind of like a status update about two things. One is Nobara's presence in the story. Yeah, Nobara watch, if you will. We can make this a whole
Lack
segment.
of
Yeah.
presence.
Uh, as of right now, still no new info. Nobara watch his first installment. Yeah, that's your update, folks.
Yeah, that's it. No
N-
bar still on pack watch.
number two. When the hell is JJK ending?
Uh, 2 years maybe.
Wow. You know, I also think 2 years because I know Gege was probably aiming for 2023 to be the end, just because I think he made that comment before he went on that 1 month hiatus too. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, ideally, I see it going slightly longer than Doctor Stone, hitting that 250 mark, and then after that,
Yeah.
it's kind of like wherever direction he wants to take it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. No dead body. No, we saw her dead body on the ground. In fact, like the thing is, you can't say she didn't die. We know for a fact she did. Like her heart stopped. She stopped breathing. Like she is medically dead.
Yeah,
Now I'm not saying it's impossible because people come back from like their heart stopping and stop breathing all the time.
hmm,
But she did die. You saw her dead body.
yeah.
Like everyone did.
So I guess that's your answer. Well, wait, hold on.
Yeah, that's my
Uh,
answer.
what's your estimation chapter wise?
For what?
Like how many chapters it goes up to?
I don't know. I think it goes for another 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. I don't know how many other chapters is that? Is that
That's
150 more?
no. What? That's like on the very high end. That's being conservative. There's like 40 chapters a year, and I'm being very, very conservative here. So I'd say like 80 more chapters in 2 years, not including the rest of this one.
I'm saying 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
Huh. That's the rest of the Cullen games to be wrapped up, including all the fights. That's
Because I think the Culling Games has a lot of threads open.
that's room for like two mini arcs, like around the same length as Maki's perfect preparation arc, if he wants to do that. Um, and then there's a like there's no in between villain of Kenjaku and Sukuna, so I think they just go straight into the Sukuna final boss arc after that.
Probably, unless Sukuna is gonna be the final boss, he's gonna usurp. It could be something where like he usurps Kenjaku as the final boss.
Oh,
Maybe,
like
who knows?
same moment at the end of Culling games. You think Gege is like not gonna have any wiggle room in between?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I can very easily see him doing something like that though.
Huh. All right. Okay. I fuck with it. Anyway, I think that's a good wrap up for this episode.
Hmm.
You got anything else you want to say?
No, I will answer one last question because someone brought up a very interesting hypothetical.
Uh,
This is what if the binding vow, in relation to Yuji and Sukuna's, is designed for Yuji to fail so that he loses control of the vessel. We don't know the penalty for breaking a vow with another person other than losing everything, right? So I guess kind of two things. We don't even know if you like this could be an example of Yuji simply can't break the binding vow, like as in like he's physically unable to, which
Okay.
I'm leaning closer towards. Like he cannot break it even if he wants to. One because he's not aware of it, and two, it might be something like a sort of like more of an overtime binding vow rather than like a Mahito will like help Mekamaru get his body back binding vow. It's more of something you are chained to do this, right? You have no option. Unlike a oh I can choose to abide by this and deal with the consequences later. Also, just essentially still being like I said earlier, being able to be saved does not mean you're not dead. You can people like I said, people die and are revived all the time. You saw her dead body and she did die, right?
Hmm.
That's not up for debate. That's actually objectively the case.
Yeah.
Whether or not she comes back is different, but she did die and you saw it. It was on screen. Like Mahito killed her.
Yeah. Uh,
Anyways,
sorry about that.
you're
Uh,
good.
yeah. Anyway, I think yeah. Fun episode, great episode. Um,
Very great episode.
I think it's safe to say it was better than the last one.
Yeah,
That
I
was
agree.
that was. Hold on a second. I just have to do something. Okay. Sorry about that. The little dings were getting to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, overall, I think it was a great episode. Way better than I think Thursday's episode. You know, when we were both like at our fucking limit, energy wise.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a good stream overall. We had a lot to talk about in particular, so it was pretty fun. Had a lot of people show out here too, so that's nice.
yeah. Thank you all for coming out. You're the best. Honestly, we almost peaked with 100 viewers concurrent. We got up to like 99, but then we went back down. But we still like got 100 likes. Great performance on this one. I think this new Sunday format is definitely the way to go. Um, uh, Thank you. Those are my
Mhm.
closing thoughts. BR, it's your turn.
And my closing thoughts are you're welcome. So not just to you, Creams, but to the entire chat. Yeah, appreciate you guys joining. You're welcome for this great entertainment, this riveting discussion. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed, and leave a comment if you guys have any more questions that we didn't get to answer actually in the stream.
Yeah.
Peace.
Check out our previous episodes. Do the YouTube stuff. All right, later. Bye.